Hi, welcome back to Relatively Speaking 2020. My name is Rosemary. I'm going to be doing a collective read for July 22nd, 2023. I'm using a different camera. I'm using my phone camera and a different audio speaker so that you're able to hear me without a distorted quality. Some of the area that I'm in and the computer I have right now may not have good audio or speakers, as that was commented on, and thank you very much for viewers for doing that, that the audio was distorted. So I'm doing a collective read for July 22nd, 2023, and I would like to talk a little bit about the timeline itself. So, and I'm going to use timeline. There is a linear timeline where, again, we have different paradigms playing out. We have what would be more of a divine masculine, a logical material, more people seeing more of the material side of things. We also have an intuitive side, more of the spiritual side of things. So it almost looks like a split, but in a way there's actually going to be a bit of a merger going on because there's something new that is going to be birthed out of this. Now, people still do get their choice, and their choices also depend on their consequences on whether they are part of that merger of an actual line, and again the mirror. So the masculines in a way and the feminines, the logical and the intuitive, the 3D and the spiritual world are actually inversely affect each other. So as we walk in mirror, especially with emotions, when one thing happens on one side, it actually inadvertently but also quantumly affects the other side. It's a point of entanglement. So and I'm just going to talk briefly on it. You guys can leave comments and questions. So I'm going to actually have two different spreads, more on the template that is I'm going to have it on the left and one on the right. I'm going to do a template, which would be, again, those that, not saying it's bad, it is their experience, because all experiences, all paths are very valid. They do teach us things. So I'm going to do one on a timeline, which is, again, more of this divine masculine side. I'm going to put on the left. On the right, I'm going to put the divine feminine. I am aware also my camera is a little bit upside down and backwards at the moment, so it would be to my left or right, but on your right, I should say. So see what I get. I am using the Gilded Reverie Tarot deck. This deck does not have, they do not produce a guidebook anymore. So this deck is going to be completely intuitive, and I'm going to use two cards. One for one side and one for the other side of this, the particular path that we're taking. And I'm actually going to have a bridge in the middle, which will be from the other decks I'm using today. So I'm going to cut this. Okay, so for the left side, we have this maze that is actually 43. It's actually 7. So if you can see my actual card here, I will hold them up. This is a maze. This is actually reversed on this end. I know it was on here on the camera. It's not. So this card was actually reversed. This card represents, and it is a wild card. Again, it is a wild path. It can be anything that the collective itself in a way is going through. We have hearts, we have diamonds, we have clubs, and we have spades that are sitting on the bottom of this card. So it can actually be any position available of this maze. And again, as we're winding down through this maze. So this is 43. And this, I'll actually do it this way. So this card represents 7, which is the 7 chakras. Again, and the alignment coming in. So this path that's being taken, it may seem like the long path. It may seem the long experience. But this is also about, in a way, being intuitively guided. So now we have, again, we're having this balance point between the logical, it can be the divine masculine side, the intuitive side of people. And we also have the intuitively guided in a way. Again, this is a guidance system. So we don't actually have to push. And this is guiding them into alignment right now. And this would be, again, the divine, in a way, logical side if you're in the logical mind frame. Now, I also want to say before I draw another card, and I'm going to cut again, is that on either side, when you're walking full spectrum, you can actually go to either side of this, whereas some people may only be on one side or the other, if that makes sense. Okay, so as full spectrum, we can exactly kind of go in and go into that realm, go into that person's path. That's more of the empathic side. And I say full spectrum is that when we sit in our ability to be ourselves, then we are actually able to embody full spectrum light. All right, so I have 30. This card is not reversed. This also represents the 3D, and this is the 3D aspect of even the Divine Feminine. We have these beautiful orchids here, or lilies, coming up. And this is talking about a blossoming in the Divine Feminine right now. It's also a King of Spades right now. So that would be your King of Swords, which is somebody that, again, on the masculine side, who is sitting very much in their power, in their authority, very swift moving, calculated, and logical in a way thinking. So this is more of, even on the intuitive side, we are also, as I just said about this, we are also in a way thinking about the logical side of things as well. We're thinking about the moves in them, but we're also seeing our 3D moves, as 30 represents 3, and that is the breakdown into our 3D life. So we have this other template where some of us, again, are walking through this path, this maze. We're being guided through this. And mind you, there will be a bridge going down the middle of this to show you how, again, they affect each other. We have also, it's a bouquet of flowers, meaning not only blossoming coming in, but we also have this, in a way, again, this delicateness of this blossoming, but also a gift in a way, right? The gift of a true ourselves. So again, we can experiencing both of these at the same time. There is a middle path in this. So I'm actually going to start drawing from the Akashic Tarot, and we will see what, again, what is the Akashic records in a way? Are we going through a memory? Are we going through our emotional space? And I do know that we are in that Cancer new moon phase. So a lot of emotions are going through. We're actually shedding a lot of emotions and a lot of other things. So in a way, we are taking off all the masks and sitting in ourselves. So, and it's finally a good thing to take this step up, this leap forward for both sides, for both paradigms. Again, all paths are valid. Every experience is valid. And right down to even every experience that we have. Again, some of us are here to simply even just be. Again, it's the blissfulness of being, right? Okay, so I'm going to draw from the Akash. Oh, actually had a bunch of cards come out. You only need 2. So if there's more that come out, we will see. And I actually got 2. Okay. I have wish fulfillment and the King of Forces. So the wish fulfillment is coming in as they're being guided. This card is reversed. Again, it's coming in. It's not quite here yet. This is the change, the shift, the 5 of keys, the unlock. For the more of the logical, the 3D, those that are diligently, and I say working in the 3D right now. And it's funny because at the bottom of the deck, I have the 5 of Forces with summer being at the top. So here we are. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, we're into the summer months, right? We're almost smack dab into the middle of it. In a way, going into the fall, which would be a harvest, a wish fulfillment in a way. So this, again, is for those that are kind of, again, we can go to either side, actually doing the wish fulfillment on the other side here. They're getting that abundance coming in, that harvest. We actually have on the more intuitive side, the more spiritual side, we have the King of Forces, again, which actually goes with the King of Spades that we got here. The King of Forces, though, is somebody, again, another masculine. So again, this is talking about a masculine, or the masculine energy, again, coming in from the divine side as we integrate, because we're integrating both sides here. We're getting the wish fulfillment on this side. It's even the color purple, 5. And we're getting, again, this blessing if you're coming in on more of the logical, more of the divine masculine side. We're just going through the maze part. And again, some of it is, we're still shedding either side, right? Some of it is actually just coming out and actually being more intuitive in a way. So abundance can also be abundance of heart, seeing the heart of things. Now we have the King of Forces, and this represents, again, we're talking about the 3D and more intuitive sides. The King of Forces is divine masculine. And even though this is reversed, again, we're talking about this side coming into union. We're talking about the divine masculine who would be more in tune with nature. This also represents somebody that, again, maybe if you're on the feminine side, to actually do that work and get in tune with nature right now. To actually start feeling the outdoors, right? To getting out of our 3D mindset, because even in the intuitive side, we're so focused and hyper focused on what we're building, because a lot of us has taken this path, and we could be, again, going in between both of them, where we're seeing how does it go in, how do we fractal in from the spiritual side of stuff, and how does it fractal into our 3D life, right? So we're seeing this gift come in and the wish fulfillment. Again, a lot of us can go in between like a sine wave as this one line that is actually being played out. It's one timeline. That is actually indicative, if you pay attention to a lot of mythology and a lot of the history, it actually tells you that the one frequency, right? So frequency is playing. There is a cosine sine wave because it's amplitude that we speak into existence. So I'm going to draw 2 more cards from the Akashic for both of these. And then I'm going to draw the middle part and the closing message from the Starry Beginning deck I have. So the middle part is going to be a part of the Elemental Oracle deck. So we can see what the elements are in the bridge in between and what it is the bridging pieces. I'm going to cut. So I have the King of Keys. Again, the unlock on the logical side again, but also the King of Keys also represents, again, this keys is sometimes more contributed to the coins in a particular deck, but the keys in the Akashic record are more to this unlock. And we actually see this big sprawling land. This is upright in this deck, on this draw that I have. So we have the Divine Masculine, the King of Keys, in the way the unlock, again, the sitting in your own power, again, the King of the Castle, King of the Kingdom. But he's also in a way patrolling it. And again, we have the color red on a white horse. So we have the purity in the root chakra in the survival mode. Instead of just being in survival mode, we actually have the root chakra being healed on here, which in a masculine sense, the root chakra is very important, again, in a energetic polarity type move. So I also have the scribe, which again is another 3, 12. So I have that the intuitive side of things, again, we're writing the script, and see how that we're writing the script to stand in ourselves, to heal the root issues of survival here. I have that the script, or the scribe in a way, right, is the one writing. This is upright, so it is talking about the 3D and what we're writing into existence in our 3D. It is funny how, again, the intuitive side is actually more focused on the 3D side of things, right? On how it's looking and how we go back and forth in between this board. And it is, life is a giant game, right? A play in a way. And we all have different people that can come in and out of our own plays, or on and off of our boards, our chess boards, our movements. So again, the scribe is the one that we're writing. So we're taking from the intuitive side of things and we're actually writing it into existence. Now, again, as it vice versa, we see from one eye to the other, right? So what we see in our space does overtly affect how we react in a spiritual space as we go down this path. So we are constantly coming into different alignments, realigning, readjusting, so that we can actually step into our higher self, step into that heaven paradigm. A lot of us embodying the heaven space in a 3D way, through the vibration that we are sitting in, because heaven is a vibration. So we can be thankful for all of the things that we actually have in this life. Okay, so the bridge down the middle, I have, this is right side up. Here's another 7. This is 34. This is the silence and snow. So actually there is, if you're looking at a 3D aspect, more of this masculine and a feminine side, there is a bit of silence of snow in between. There may actually be an isolation period in between the actual two, and maybe a no communication as well. But this is for alignment for both sides. Now, in silence, in the snow, in our quiet, in our solitude, if you ever really listen to snow, it kind of has this very pretty, almost white sound noise. It's very high intensity. It is ice, right? And each snowflake is even individual. It is so unique. So this is celebrating our uniqueness of being individuals on this paradigm that we're in, right? On our own universes. This is saying that we are in alignment and we are celebrating our uniqueness. And it's okay to be quiet now, because now we're actually having this more of this telepathy type layer. So it is now easier for us to read each other in a way. and that emotional layer. Emotions, energy can be read, can be met, right? Okay, I have a completion coming in from this. It's not here yet. This card is reversed. This is coming in, and in this way, it's also signifying the west, which is also representative of the sun going down in the west, right? We have this completion. It's showing a brain space on here. It's actually showing a puzzle piece. So again, as we complete our journey, the in-between, as we balance both the left and the right, the logic and the intuition, the artificial intelligence and the actual intelligence, our 3D lives and our intuitive lives, right? The astral life that we're seeing, as we start to bring them into balance, we have this completion. We have this fire of synapses. We have this moment of the pineal gland actually activating in the human being, right? We have this completion of a cycle. Now it is on the way. There is a protection, as this is number 4, which is also talking about the 4D, which is time, right? Our idea that we trap ourselves in our own time. So this time illusion is coming to, in a way, in a completion, because we're now realizing that the time doesn't really exist. We assign it that, we define it that, so that we can, again, put limitations on ourselves. How many of us come up with excuses for why we didn't do something, or why we don't want to do something, or why we didn't make a change, instead of saying, okay, you know what, I see what somebody may be pointing out, I see myself in the mirror, and instead of making the excuse of why we don't do it, let's start stepping into ourselves so that we are able to now change, right? And people can change. They do not have to remain the same. I don't care what other people say. I've seen this change in a lot of different people. And it is actually really good to recognize our own patterns in this. Okay, so I'm going to draw. And we have the, again, equator. So we have the equilibrium, the actual change, the shift, of what I was just talking about, to make equal. And again, it's showing even a dark to a light. It is showing two, in a way, a shadow, right? But it's also showing the embrace between two people. We can actually have the differences in between, and they don't, in a way, define us. It's actually talking about balance, and you see this crystal ball that this person is actually holding here. We're actually getting to see a beautiful union, in a way. Even within our intuition, again, the equator, to make equal. Gaia, Mother Earth, right? So we're actually seeing this shift not only in the 3D space, we're actually seeing this shift as Gaia. Because as we start to, spiritually even away, but as we start to stand in ourselves, as we start to manifest our reality space, Gaia itself starts to shift back into what Eden really is, right? What you think of the Garden of Eden, of Shambhala, of that place that is the perfect place, right? So we start to shift our reality space, our ways of thinking, and it will shift us. And Gaia in the 3D, again, the 3D is the bridge. And that is what sometimes when we are seeing climate change, that is actually what is happening and transpiring, is we are starting to manifest what Eden actually looks like, what the Garden of Eden, what heaven actually looks like. And yes, each person's idea of heaven may be different. So there is, again, that timeline in a way playing out. And people have free will of choice. When we start to enact our control and take away free will, that is when things start to realign. We have karma that actually plays out. And at the bottom of the deck, I have 32, which is 5, another change. And this is what I was talking about in the marine life, the richness that we're seeing. Now, it is reversed under the deck, meaning that it's something that we don't see. Again, it is what we don't see is this richness, this marine life in a way, this change. The change in abundance, the change in the way we see life. Now, it hasn't obviously come in. This is 5. It is what's coming in, this change. This richness, this marine life. We're even seeing the marine life come to life in a way. So this is in a way telling us that what we don't see, again, talking about Gaia, is the change in what our 3D space is seeing, right? Because like I said, as we change our perspective on how we view it and how we take steps into it, then we actually start to change the reality space that we're embodying right now. Okay, so I'm gonna leave 2 oracle messages here for both sides, and I'm actually gonna put 3 of them on here because that is what I'm being led to do. So 43, trust your new path, All will work out for you. So as we started off with 43 for the left, for those that are playing into the more logical, the 3D, and diligently seeing that the reality space and going into the divine masculine sign and coming that into balance, another 43, another 7, right? And it says, trust in your new path. All will work out for you. So again, this in the maze, a new path, a new direction is coming through, right? This change in the way that we see and view abundance. And we're stepping into that, again, healing the root chakra, their survival mode, the needing to even just fit in. We're changing that to change the land that we're in. And we're trusting this new path, right? All will work out for you. Again, it's going to work out. It is coming to alignment. It is divinely guided. Okay, so I'm going to draw for the right side, which would be the left on the screen. And I have embrace the dark, shine your true light upon this earth. This is 31, which is 4, which we also had, I believe we had 4 in between here. So again, this is talking about embracing the dark. Again, the dark, what we see on the darker side of things, our shadow, right? The equator to make equal. Shine your light upon this earth. It is time for, even if you're more into the spiritual side of things, intuition side, to actually just shine, to actually just step into our being and actually just shine our light for those around us, right? Don't even wear masks. Again, some of us are still, some people still try to fit in, right? We try to fit into the puzzle pieces, into the symphony, and not everybody plays the flute. We just want to play the flute because we're sitting into a section where we know that this person plays the flute, so we'd like to play the flute. And I want to say is that when you're in a concert, there are different, even for the same instruments, there are different notes that actually take place. There are different pieces that are actually played. So there's a flute that is level 1 flute or first player flute, second player flute. And again, they play different things that complement during the actual process of the symphony playing out or in a band playing out, right? It's different notes. It doesn't cover the whole thing. The whole one piece, one note. This way they complement each other. And so this way it also creates a harmony in a way. And so for us to try to fit in to all these different spaces, even though we can be full spectrum and sitting in ourselves, just being ourselves without expectation, without limitations, without definitions, actually helps us to navigate this, to navigate the entire timeline, this entire story in the way, this entire symphony. So our lives are basically a choose your own adventure. And what we focus on is what we manifest into our reality. So certain things, again, it's why I don't often watch much of news. We can feel it in the collective. It's time to listen to the intuition side of this. So instead of manifesting things into our existence that we may not personally see, therefore, how do we know if they're real or not? They're not observable by our own 2 eyes. Focus on what you want to create instead of what destruction news programmings or programs actually do. All right, and for the middle part, the bridge between this, the last closing message I have is walk your own journey. It is essential to stay on your own path. Again, some of us are playing just the logical side. We're diving into the more shadow side of things in a way, or AI or 3D. We're always say shadow because more of the masculine side is what is in the light, the 3D world that we see. But we may be walking our path on that side so that we're able to understand the shadow of that aspect, the masculine aspect. And again, I'm not going to say masculines in a way, they also have been conditioned in society, just as feminines have. Again, it's all about gender roles and conditions. So this is saying to walk our own path. Same thing with the intuitive side, even the spiritual side, if that is the side we choose. Walk your own path. It is essential to stay on your own path, right? Walk your own journey, your own story. This is 30, which is 3. And as I was just talking about, walking your own journey, observing your own journey. What do you see in your space, right? Playing your own story and not other stories or other programs that are playing out. They call soap operas stories, right? So again, they're stories. It's a drama. it's in a way drama and fiction. So in order to stay out of drama, which is karma, we go into more of this dharma. We play with what we have in the now. Stay in the now, in your 3D, but also feel intuitively, bringing both of those into balance, because as we come into balance, and it's funny how it makes a praying thing, right? If we do this, when we do both sides of this timeline, right? It actually has the significance to sit in unity, right? To embrace both sides of this, all sides of this. So that's the message I'm leaving with for the collective for July 22nd, 2023. And again, you're more than welcome to join us and comment. Please comment on the video below if you'd like to see more of these videos. More likely to join us, we're on Facebook. You can find us at Relatively Speaking 2020. And you can also reach with an email as well. If you'd like your own personal reading, those are booked till the next week, I believe. We can fit one in for you. I will put price listings underneath for personal readings as well. If you'd like a library reading where I do not use the actual cards for this, it is something uniquely different and it is unique to each person. You're more than happy to message as well, and we can set that up, and I will put the times and prices on the bottom as well. And you can email for more information. But thank you for allowing me to read through spirits, to actually have messages come through, and to show a bit of more perspective on the reality space that we're embodying right now. And actually our own masks, right? And the way that we navigate them. It's time in a way to take the masks off. The apocalypse, which is the unveiling, right? The unveiling, lifting the veil of illusions off, lifting the what we are defined as, instead of limitations, but lifting all of that off so that we become limitless. So please enjoy your life, enjoy it, and live in bliss. And much love to you all.